There's a couple of things the covert narcissist does that is kind of strange, but it makes you feel like maybe you're the narcissist. I mean, besides the word salads and stuff, but it's really important to keep the truth in mind, what really happened, because throughout the manipulations that these people do, and the word salads, don't get caught up in a word salad, is that they tend to shift it. And sometimes it even actually sounds reasonable when it's not. But one of the things that they do, and it's usually right after they've discarded you, is they will totally block you and go no contact with you. And when you watch some of these videos, you'll see that they're all saying go no contact, and all this stuff, and the narcissist is going to come stalking you and all that. Well, that's not always the case. So with a covert narcissist, a lot of times they'll block you. They won't stalk you. I mean, they're always watching, but it's going to be very sneaky like. It's not like it's going to be in your face or anything like that. So it'll absolutely drive you nuts, and you keep thinking, am I the narcissist? Because he just went no contact with me. And and it drives you crazy because you're being told you should go no contact with them, but what they're doing is they're blocking you first. And what they like is they want to be chased. And if you notice, like throughout the time you were with this person, if you've been with a covert narcissist, they've done the same thing over and over, but they didn't normally block you right away. I mean, they might have done little mini blocks, for maybe a couple of days and then blocked. And shoot, sometimes I didn't even know I was blocked. So, because I didn't call them all the time. So I don't know. And sometimes I did, it didn't matter. But, and so they do these things, but during those course of time, you'll notice that it's most of the time you're the one that pursued them. And that's what it is they want, and that's called the reverse Hoover. So they absolutely go silent on you. They don't call you. They don't text you. They don't, they don't even reach out or anything. And you get to thinking, because you do miss them, especially within time, you're addicted to them. You remember the love bomb and all the good stuff, and you kind of want that back, and you're kind of lonely. And so you reach out and kept thinking, probably either I could fix them or we could work on it and we can get this relationship back to where it was in the first place. And of course, you probably know now that that would never happen. So you keep thinking about these things, so you throw out a text and there's no response, and it may not have gone through. It depends on what type of phone you have, if if you're blocked or not. And so, on an iPhone, it'll say it's not delivered, it won't say anything. And then if they have an Android, I'm not even sure if you can tell on an Android, or you'll pick up the phone and it goes straight to voicemail and that kind of thing. And you're wondering what's going on. Well, a lot of times, if, nothing really makes sense, especially if they discarded you, why they discarded you, because sometimes they never give you closure. It's just, I'm done, that's it, bye, see ya. Or, maybe you hadn't seen them for a couple of days and all of a sudden you've been discarded, didn't even know it. So, and that happens too. So you end up, pursuing them, finding out, because you get to worry, like, is everything okay? What's going on? So you may drop by their house, knock on the door, and boom, they got you. Or, maybe they'll unblock you for a little bit, or on social media, you'll post a post or something, and, but you end up and you hoover yourself back in, and it happens over and over and over again because they love to be chased. They want their ego boost, and they want to be able to tell everybody, he or she loves the crap out of me, I can't get rid of them, so, but on the same token, when you do that, they will always have an insult. And I remember a couple of times, they were dating sites. And so, here I am hoovered back in, dumb me. And they're on dating sites, and I guess I'll go off this dating site because it's not doing me any good. It's kind of like, well, you're the second choice, but I'll just go ahead and go with you, thanks, but they will. And then, Here's the other thing. If they do respond to a text or something like that, you'll notice there's a little passive aggressive, undertone to it, to where it's an insult, or they'll throw out some word salad and you just sit there and scratch your heads and you're thinking, it kind of sounded like an insult, but I'm not sure. But that's what they do, but they really do. They eat it up when you're chasing after them, and they expect it. They know that's what you're going to do. Now, on the same token, if you don't reverse Hoover yourself and chase after them, and you decide, screw this, I'm happier without them, which, most of us, we had to go through a lot of learning to get to that point. But, if you're with them for so many years or whatever, and you've already gotten your education and you're, and you just decide not to, and that's it. It could be a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road, and they will reach out to you. They always do. And sometimes it's just like a test. So they'll text you or email you or something like that. And always, there's some sort of underlying insult in there every time, and either they'll just quit texting or emailing or whatever, or maybe they'll even block you again, but or maybe they'll even take you back for like 3 or 4 months or something, but then you always get discarded again. So anyway, I just thought, that's some of the things that a covert narcissist does. They're sneaky and underhanded, and that's why it's really hard to figure out if they're a narcissist or not. But the thing is you got to keep in mind, keep the truth. Keep the truth. You were there. You know what happened. Don't let them muddy up your mind and, and try to blame it on you to where you actually believe it, because it's not true. You don't need to be gaslit. You know the truth. You keep the truth. And narcissists, no matter what type they are, they always follow the love bomb, devalue, discard, Hoover face all the time. So when you get out or even when you're in, watch it, watch the patterns, see where they're going, and this is just a couple of things that the covert narcissist did.